takes one SOP deviation to cause an entire truckload of freight to get lost, or for an insurance claim to get denied because they weren't exactly sure who caused the damage, things like that.
Hi, this is Tyson Fisher, the associate editor over at Landline Media. Listen, one of the biggest topics in the business world, or probably just the world in general, is AI, artificial intelligence. And if you don't already know, or if you haven't already seen, AI technology has already been integrated into the trucking industry and just the freight sector, freight logistics sector in general. And it's been around for a while, but now it's looking like, even advanced AI technology can be used even by smaller fleets, especially in these smaller fleets where if you're a fleet owner and you have your own yard that has a security gate, there is now AI technology available to you. And so several months ago, Outpost, that owns several terminals throughout the country, they rolled out some pretty cool AI gate technology that they were using on their property. But now they are offering that exact same technology to everybody, including fleet owners. So if you have your own yard, again, with the security gate, you can now use this really cool AI technology that will make sure that not just your drivers, but then your equipment are basically safe and secure and everything's, up to snuff. So anyway, with me to talk about that is Outpost Chief Technology Officer Greg
So
Axelrod.
the way to think about it is that there's $6.7 billion being spent staffing guard booths around the country. That job entails receiving trucks and also authorizing them to exit. They're checking operational correctness, is the right tractor pulling the right trailer. They're checking for fraud, trying to stop thieves. And they're also trying to keep gate logs. So understanding what actually left and what actually came with who at what times. And what we found in our properties is it was about 85% accurate. And we found, talking to a lot of other folks in the industry, shippers, carrier fleets, as well as 3PLs, facility operators, that's pretty typical. And so what our platform does is it fully automates the inbound and outbound gate operations at any of those facilities. And today's announcement is all about bringing it beyond our yards, which we originally built it for our use cases, and we've now extended it both in functionality as well as making it enterprise grade so it can be used at any facility in the United States.
So if you have like your own, like say, trucking fleet, you got your own yard, you can take some of this technology and incorporate it into your property and kind of utilize this. The way I kind of see it is that you're essentially replacing the human that's usually, kind of like guarding the gates, I guess you can say, and then using this AI technology to facilitate that. Is that a fair representation of that?
Yeah, with a couple of things I'd add. So,
Yep.
uh, one is that it really leans into what computers do best, which is routine tasks and never missing something. And in these kinds of things, it only takes one SOP deviation to cause an entire truckload of freight to get lost, or for an insurance claim to get denied because they weren't exactly sure who caused the damage, things like that. The other is that while we did build all this technology and we're offering it for use at all of these yards, we're not just saying, here's some technology, good luck. We're actually a fully turnkey gate operator. So what that means is that when somebody says, hey, we'd like to use your technology at our gates, we do everything from the civil design, if there's any reconfiguration needed, which oftentimes there's not. We install it ourselves. We then maintain it after that. We don't just leave it. We install hardware, software, the cloud components, as well as if an exception needs to be handled and a human has to be involved, we have optionally a remote staffing center that they can utilize. So what this really represents the fully turnkey gate operations offering. It's not just a piece of technology.
Okay. Yeah, and again, to be clear, it's like, this is obviously going to be incorporated at all of the outpost locations. But like again, if you are a fleet operator, you have your own facility, you're offering this as a product and a service, right?
That's exactly right.
Okay, yeah, so make sure that's clear, and that's actually really cool. So I was actually looking at the video you guys have out, and I'll send a link. I'll post a link on that. But yeah, it looks like this is one of those situations where AI is going to be better than the human. And so the thing that I noticed is that you have all these different camera angles, and these cameras are picking up. First of all the DOT numbers, the trailer numbers, the license plate numbers, is picking that up, which is one thing. But the thing that it's also picking up are all the details of the truck in the trailer itself. And when I say details, we're talking like dents and little spots of rust. These are the things that the AI is capturing, and that's kind of the idea here, right? That these are things that even like the most well-trained, human eye, you're not going to pick that up every single time. AI is, and that's kind of what we're doing here, right?
That's exactly right. Because we have multiple camera angles and all of the automation can run in parallel, we can basically canvas, every square inch of surface while interacting with the driver, while interacting with the backend tooling and the ERP or TMS, YMS. All of that can happen in seconds rather than oftentimes these gate operations can take, minutes to get through.
Yeah, and so now we're saving time too, right? So
Yep,
where it would take you, like I said, maybe even up to 5 to 10 minutes to inspect this truck before you get to the gate, you got like a few seconds. You're through the gate by now.
that's
But
exactly.
so again, so if you are if you have a fleet, so if you send a truck out, to whatever, and the truck comes back, you, the fleet owner, you'll know within seconds whether or not there's been any damage done to the truck. Is that right?
That's right. Our cameras are inspecting all surfaces. They're looking for missing mud flaps. They're looking for the kinds of things that might have happened from a small accident or the kind of thing that a police officer might pull them over for and give them a ticket.
And then, so that's like the truck part of it, but then there's also the driver aspect of it. And so there's got a pretty good, identification system with the driver. Could you kind of briefly explain that?
Yeah, so it's customizable. What a typical scenario would be is we ask them to present their driver's license. We don't just scan the barcode on the back. We actually will scan the front as well and cross-verify that to databases and analyze. Does this look like a fake? Is this match, valid CDLs? And then we also have the ability to compare the picture on the driver's license with the driver that's physically there. And that allows us to catch, somebody who's taking somebody else's driver's license and then trying to steal a trailer or something like that.
Okay, cool. It also mentions, you guys sent me some details on this, that it can also extract information from like, bills of lading and stuff like that. So how does that part of the system operate?
Yeah. So we are able to scan documents. So bill of lading is the most common, obviously. And from that, we can grab things like whether it's a seal number or, who the US DOT is supposed to be, things like that. We can keep the digital record as well as use that information for the vetting at the gate. And that'll be to whatever the facility wants us to do. So that is also fully customizable.
So a scenario here would be like, let's say you have a truck that's going to be coming into your yard. So you would have the driver that can quickly show the identification, right? And that's verified. Now you can, so I'm assuming you can just kind of like just present the bill of lading, and it's going to take that information and then kind of just cross check it with all of the camera angles of the trailer number, the DOT number. I also noticed the video that it picked up the actual the plastic seal
Yep.
on the trailer. All this information, which you pointed out, would be probably contained in the bill of lading and stuff like that. And so this would something that a human would probably have to get out of the booth or whatever, do around, read the the bill lading, go
Yep.
around, check that. It's going to take a few. I mean, in the time it took me to explain this, I'm guessing your program has
It
already
would
done
be done.
this. It's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And
That's right.
then the trucker is the gates are open and you're in. So not only are you saving the driver time, but if you're the fleet owner, you're just able to verify all this information. And by the way, it just checked for the dents and the rust or any scratches or all that.
That's
I
right.
mean, this you're saving the time, but these are things that would again could be reasonably be missed by a human being.
That's exactly right. So it saves a ton of money, obviously, and it up levels the entire gate operation. So from accuracy, consistency, the speed, so there's not a line building up and backing into the street. It's kind of a win-win-win from all those angles.
Sure. And another thing that was brought up was that, so, obviously there's these systems do all the things that we just talked about, but it also appears that it's not just, just like this single platform. It's like, this is what it does. And then, it'll adapt to your operations. I guess that's kind of where we're going. It's like, it sounds like that this software can be customized to whatever is happening at your fleet, at your yard, for example, because one yard may operate differently than another. So it sounds like that this system can adapt to whatever it is that you're doing in your yard. Can you kind of walk me through that?
Yeah. So, and that's something that really enterprises expect in these kinds of offerings is that they have operations. We will adapt to what their operation is. And so, if they need us to navigate that driver to a dock based on a pre-scheduled appointment where they're supposed to be going, or dynamically, we can do that. If they need certain camera angles that may be non-standard, our system's modular. So we're able to actually adjust where we put cameras if they need them. We typically will put them all on one post, and that makes it really clean and quick. But in certain cases, we'll put cameras elsewhere, and that allows them to do pretty specific SOPs. Um, so it really, every time we do one of these deployments, the first thing we do is learn their gate operations, both the written SOPs and the unwritten SOPs that actually keep their things running, so we can design our implementation for to fully meet their needs, and we do it very quickly. So typically, in the span of about 6 weeks or so, we've gone all the way from we're doing this to parts are ordered, delivered, installed. We've tuned it, tested it, and gone live.
So yeah, that sounds like a pretty quick turnaround from when someone would order this to where you can get it installed. That's pretty quick. You said within about a week or so, right?
Uh, about 6 weeks
Six,
to
I'm
go
sorry, six
from
weeks.
green light
Yeah.
to fully in production.
But that includes the customization to your
Everything.
to everything,
That's right.
which when I saw the videos, like it seems pretty quick considering the
Yep.
level of technology that we're working with. And then of course you have to integrate that into your back system. I mean, it's a pretty impressive turnaround.
Yeah, and I will say the reason we're able to do that is that we've fully vertically integrated all pieces of the
Mhm.
process. So it's our software, we're doing the installation. All of the hardware components are things that we've hand selected and that we keep our own inventory of. So we're not subject to lead times, things like that. We're not battling with other people's schedules. Before we vertically integrated, as we were developing this process, it would easily take us 6+ months to get to that first
Sure.
install. In terms of once those parts arrive, we're typically from the installer arriving to the system being online and running. That part is really only about a week, but 1 to 2
Right.
weeks of lead time before they arrive. And then we give ourselves 1 to 2 weeks afterwards to dial everything in, tune. And the machine learning actually adapts dynamically to the individual yard. It's not a one size fit all model. And that's another thing that makes us really unique.
Yeah, that's really cool. A question that I have, just like on the technical side, so on the video that I watched, kind of just like a walkthrough of this in action, I noticed like the system is talking to the driver. I'm assuming that is an AI. It's not like a human operator in the back, or is that AI, or is that how's
Yeah.
that work?
Yeah, that is a fully automated AI voice agent
It's insane.
following an SOP. Yeah,
Because the
really.
reason why I ask is because it sounds so much like a human, and that's like how far this technology has gone. Because when you're used to like the voice of Siri or whatnot, very computerized, there's no fooling anyone that you're talking to, AI or computer. This system, like if you didn't know, you probably wouldn't know that you're talking to AI. Like that's kind
Yeah,
of that's where we're at now. That's insane,
yeah. When I show people that video, I like to not tell them up front that it's a
right?
voice agent and see with their reaction when I tell them afterwards that was actually an AI voice agent. And about half of them are like, "What?"
Yeah,
It's also multi-language. So that agent can speak in whatever language is most comfortable for the driver. And that really streamlines gate operations, as you might imagine, because a lot of times communication is the slowest part of it.
sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like you said, this is all rolling out. You can get this anywhere. That's the question that I had was just like, so I know that several months ago, I think you and I even talked before with the introduction of the of this system of this technology, how you're rolling it out with Outpost, and so it was just assumed that obviously the Outpost was going to have them at locations, but what made you guys think like let's go ahead and offer this to everybody else that may want it. I mean, that kind of is a huge leap there.
Yeah. So we always intended for this technology to solve as many facilities as it could. We knew obviously that our terminals had an acute need, and so we designed it first for that. What we found as soon as we started deploying it is that our customers were taking notice, and we had some inbound inquiries from a number of them saying we've been trying to do this at our gates for years, but everything seems like a half solution, or it almost works, but we still have to have a gate guard, and so why bother putting all this tech in? Uh, when we started showing them our system, though, they immediately said, when can we use it? And that really validated our theory that there was a huge need for this. And that's why between the last time we spoke and now, we've been hard at work extending the system and bringing it to be enterprise grade so we could deploy it beyond our own facilities.
Sure, and because I've always associated Outpost with terminals, yards, and truck parking. But is it safe to say now that Outpost is now also technically half a technology company? Have you crossed into that space now?
Yeah, that is really what this announcement
Yeah.
represents, is that we are solving terminal issues not just with land and space, but also with connectivity and connecting the whole network, whether it's something we own or a terminal that one of our customers, or even if they don't rent space from us, just at other terminals as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so, again, you can find out all this information at outpost.us. I know you can check that video I've been talking about. It's posted over there. It's worth checking that out because, like I said, even knowing it's an AI voice, I was still like, am I sure am I listening to the right video? Because, but just that and then all the angles that you see and how it works, it truly is amazing. And it really shows you not how much AI has come along, generally speaking, but how AI is working in the trucking and freight space, and more specifically, how drivers and fleet owners can, take advantage, of that, that quickly escalating technology. So that being said, it kind of answers all my questions. Is there anything that I missed that you'd like to kind of highlight?
You nailed it, Tyson. We're super excited to bring this to all the terminals that we can. And again, it's not limited to carriers. It's shippers, it's 3PLs, distribution facilities, pretty much any industrial gate. We would love to talk to them, obviously, and we think it's going to address a really overlooked choke point in the supply chain that we think we finally have a solution here that is going to address it. So thank you
Okay,
so much, Tyson.
yeah, and thank you for sharing it with me.